Yep.
I remember. Get loose. Get loose.
That's a new ritual now.
Yeah. Okay, back and forth. All right, I think my juice is loose. And this place just dried out from all the juice we had that one week. It was so juicy in here, but now
dripping.
Now I'm a little dry. Welcome back to WRPL, the podcast where we talk about all the things we were watching, reading, playing, and listening to. My name's Ben.
And I'm Steve.
We don't have a whole lot today. It hasn't actually even been that long since we recorded last.
Yeah, just a couple days.
Yeah, but we're gonna talk about Arcane, a show we watched a month ago. Yep. We didn't get an opportunity just because of holidays and winter and all that stuff, and
just how things
and more important things, and we couldn't really squeeze it into the last episode because, you know, I've noticed from analytics and stuff, people don't really click on a 3-hour podcast when it just says, like, Brooklyn Nine-Nine recap.
Yep.
People not too interested in that, but whatever. So you don't have much to talk about.
I don't have a thing to talk about.
All right, then shut the fuck up and let me go.
Okay.
I'm sorry, that was rude. I only have a few things, and one's not even a recommendation. It's just hey, this is a thing I watched, but I watched Chaos Walking.
Ew.
I was curious. It's a fun concept of all the guys, your thoughts are projected visually for everyone to see, so everybody knows what you're doing. So our lead, oh my god, I feel real stupid not remembering his name, because his whole thing is like, hide your thoughts. Like, my name is Barry Lincoln, my name is Barry Lincoln, my name is Barry Lincoln, and he just says it throughout the whole movie. And I can't even remember what his name is. He says it so much it became numb. But our, what's his name? Tom Hiddleston, Jesus.
Tom Holland.
I
haven't even seen the movie.
He's just
Tom Holland, Daisy Ridley, Mad Mikkelsen, a fucking Jonas brother, Nick.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I saw the trailer once.
Yeah. So it's a different planet. We have left Earth and we're trying to colonize other worlds, but they realize that all the men have their thoughts projected for everyone to see, and it doesn't happen to women. And, you know, I'm just spoiling it.
No,
do you want me to spoil it?
Well, yes, because I don't care.
Yeah.
But, so you said that their thoughts are projected. Now, are we talking about, like from the trailer, it just looked like wavy lines. It's like, okay, I know what they're thinking, but in the movie, is it like, are you seeing actual visuals appear around their heads?
Yeah. Like,
so it's like almost like a cartoon bubble?
Kinda, yes.
Oh,
so a lot of times when it's just like noise of like, oh, I'm tired, I gotta go to work, and you know, it can be just kind of sporadic images and kind of smoky stuff. But if you think, like, the Jonas brother is picking on him, and he knows he doesn't like snakes, so he's just like, think of a snake, and a real snake kind of appears and jumps at him and makes him fall off of his horse. I mean, it's not a real snake, but it's not like a cartoon goofy snake. It actually looks like a real snake.
Okay.
And they use it pretty well sometimes. When he eventually, I know I'm jumping ahead, but he meets Daisy Ridley. She's like the second wave. They're people from Earth who are coming. It's like, well, now that they've kind of colonized this planet for a bit, this is the second wave to come help. But her pod crashes and she's the only survivor. They're just having a nice little conversation, and he's never seen a girl before, so he's instantly enamored with her, and they're just talking, and she suddenly, like, starts to kiss him, and then you hear her go, like, excuse me, and it's just like what he's imagining what he wants to do to her,
kind of fun.
But it takes place, like, right over her, so you think it's actually happening, and then it just, like, he snaps out of it, and it all wishes away real quick. So some of that stuff's really cool. Someone is forced to sacrifice her to Mads Mikkelsen, and he's like, I'm not going to do that, but I have a plan. And so he walks out with her, and they're like, oh, go grab her. And she's just a mind projection, because he's just thinking about her walking out of the building, and so it looks like she's walking out of the building. Some people have greater power with it, so they can escape out the back. And so, like, there's some fun things that they do with it.
Okay, so how or why do they have this ability? Do they explain that?
It's just something with the planet.
It's something with the planet.
Yep, it just happened. And there's no women because all the men, led by Mads Mikkelsen, were really embarrassed that women can see everything they were thinking, and a lot of times it was not so good stuff, so all the men gathered all the women and murdered them. And yeah, it's
so their thought process was, wow, we can't hold our evil thoughts in our heads, so we'll just do an evil thing. And then still have those evil thoughts, but just we won't be able to act on them anymore because we just did one evil thought one time,
I guess. And then we'll raise all the kids to say that the native tribe of this planet, they killed all the women. Either it was like a germ or an attack. They're very vague on it. And I thought there was going to be more with this alien people. They're only shown one time in the movie.
Oh, so there's actual other aliens.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, they're humanoid black things, and they also kind of do the mind thing. But you can tell this movie has been edited to hell, reshot. I mean, because it took like 3 years to make. It was like in 2017 when they were shooting it, and then 2019 was reshoots. So it was a huge mess of a production. I think it does a pretty good job. Not like, Fan4stick, where one scene. Fantastic Four remake. They use a 4 for the A. It's called Fan4stick. Everybody knows that. Like, they'll show Sue Storm and it's her normal hair, and then the next shot she's wearing an obvious terrible wig with a different part and stuff. They do a good job of hiding that, but you can tell there's a story here that is just completely butchered. But it was perfectly fine. It didn't piss me off. It wasn't stupid. It's just a young teen adventure novel. It was fine. It could have been probably an interesting story if they continued it. I guess there's a couple of books, because everything's a fucking trilogy. Sure. But yeah, I liked it enough. I gave it a C.
Do you know if the other ones, if this one's chaos walking, the next one's like chaos
something, yeah,
standing or crawling?
I think so.
Whatever. Ugh,
yeah.
Gross.
Yeah.
Well, and I know nothing of the story other than what you just told me or the future books or anything, but like, it just seems this would be the kind of thing that you would make rated R, so you could just constantly have.
Sure.
Because I can't imagine you make this movie about the thoughts of men and it's just like not be boobs like the entire time. It'd just be the episode of South Park with the Atas and tribal warfare over like.
If our lead has never seen a woman before, he doesn't really know what they look like. He doesn't really know what boobs look like, so he's not even thinking of that.
Fair enough.
But if it's free and you got nothing else and you love Tom Holland or you like Daisy Ridley, yeah, that's worth it, I think.
Okay.
Or not.
What else you got, Benjamin?
There is a fun little cartoon on HBO. It is Injustice. And for those who don't know, there was a video game made by... who's the Mortal Kombat people? NetherRealm Studios?
Sure.
Okay. The Mortal Kombat people made like DC versus Mortal Kombat years ago, and it was just lame. No fatalities, no blood. It was pretty boring. But they decided to drop the Mortal Kombat side and just focus on the DC characters, and they made Injustice. And it's pretty much the Joker tricks Superman into killing Lois Lane. He makes him think it's Doomsday because he's created like he used Scarecrow to make a fear toxin that has kryptonite in it or something.
Cool move.
He thinks Lois Lane is Doomsday, and he just punches her and takes her up into outer space, and then the fog wears off and he realizes, oh shit, this was Lois Lane. I don't know how her body is intact because he flies full force at her and through a wall. How she wasn't just exploded, I don't know. But
let's see, because his hands are wrapped around her, I'm guessing, so his knuckles broke through the wall.
Oh, yeah. And he's protecting the neck, so you can't break your spine.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Steve. You really bring a lot of logic to this.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
So, but not only does he kill Lois Lane, she has a bomb attached to her heart, so as soon as her heart stops beating, a nuke goes off in Metropolis. So, Perry White is blown up, and just tons of people die, and the Joker's just like, that's the funniest joke ever. I've turned your Superman into a monster. And so Batman grabs the Joker and he's trying to interrogate him, and Superman just flies in and punches a hole through his chest and just murders him outright. And he has a breakdown and goes like, yo, we need to stop coddling all these bad guys. We keep throwing them into Arkham. Like, Batman just keeps arresting these people and thinking like the laws are going to apply to them, and they keep breaking out. How many people would have survived if Batman just would have killed the Joker all these years ago?
Which has been like the longest running Batman argument of all time.
Absolutely. And even like Damian joined Superman's side and just like, yeah, Father, the League of Shadows showed me that, you know, criminals need to be handled a certain way, and it's not your way. So he joins Superman, and it kind of splits the Justice League, and Superman just kind of tells the world, hey, stop doing violence to people or I will take care of it. And him and Wonder Woman are kind of like the leads on that. And so they go around from country to country just fucking shit up, and they're not like brutally murdering people, but it's like, no, I'm gonna destroy your planes and destroy your tanks. And the US is just like, yeah, Superman's awesome, he's taking down all our enemies. Oh crap, he's doing it to us too, this is not good. And so they try to stop him in tons of different ways, and Superman just gets angrier and angrier, and even smaller crimes are becoming bigger issues. He's killing his friends because they won't join his team. Robin even kills Nightwing on accident. That's a weird thing that happens. So they show him sparring, and Nightwing is able to catch and block anything that Damian throws at him. But when they're in a fight and they're on opposite sides, he throws his little baton and bings him off the side of the head and kills him, and has a huge breakdown. But then it shows like Nightwing in heaven talking to some godlike person, and and they're like, nah, you do too much good, we're gonna send you back. And so he's able, and now he's Daywing, so it's the same. It's like fucking Sunny. Daywing. And so he has a normal suit, but instead of the blue, it's red. And he comes back as a ghost, and he possesses people's bodies to help a fight. Yeah,
okay.
It doesn't add anything to this Injustice story. I do not know why they added it.
Like, if you're gonna go that route, isn't there like what was that movie with Constantine and
Zatanna?
Zatanna. Yeah, like, don't you
Justice League Dark?
Yeah, Justice League Dark. Like, isn't there like a crew that deals with like magic and the underworld and stuff? Yeah. Like, why don't you use them to summon his soul back? Like, you have Nightwing talk to God? Yeah,
it's like a big, multi-armed, very Indian-inspired sort of deity. But
okay.
I think she says her name, but whatever. It's just God. And so he comes back.
Maybe the DC comic things, I don't know.
Yeah, it very well could be.
Fair enough.
And he comes back and like jumps into people's bodies to like, oh no, this bad guy is going to do a thing. He'll jump into the bad guy's body, stop him, let the good guys defeat him, and then jump back out. I don't know why he doesn't ever jump into Superman and stop the whole thing. But then one time he jumps into Damian's body, and they're talking inside his head. It's just like, you can't defeat him, but maybe we could defeat him together. It's like, well, you didn't turn into two different people. Now you're just two people trying to pilot the same sort of meat suit. And I don't think that's going to make it any better. But of course they defeat him, and it was great. It's very bloody. Superman kills Hawkman, and it takes a ton of them. Like, he creates he even teams up with the League of Shadows and Ra's al Ghul, and kind of like, yeah, we're on the same side. And they make Amazo, the indestructible robot thing that learns people's powers, and it takes all the heroes to come together to defeat them. And even like Harley Quinn is there, and she saves the day. It's like, you gotta throw Harley Quinn in everything because she's so popular. And then, so they're like, the only way we could defeat him is we need another Superman. So they go into another dimension and get a Superman that was never corrupted, and is like, hey, come on, Cal, we can't do this. You know you're better than that. And evil Superman is just like, fuck you, dick. You're like, I can defeat you easily because you hold back. You know you're the strongest thing in the world, but you hold back. Even fighting Darkseid, you hold back. I don't hold back anymore. And evil Superman just mops the floor with good Superman. And it's like, fuck, we can't even bring out a secret weapon. But the real secret weapon is they get...
Friendship.
well, love.
Okay.
Because the Lois that Superman killed, she was pregnant with Superman's baby. So that was, and it's like, you killed his wife, you killed his city, and you killed his future child. Well, they find a Lois Lane who is still pregnant with Superman's baby, but that Superman had died doing something else. And so she comes in and talks him down, and he's like, oh yeah, I've been kind of a big dickhead about this whole thing. You're right. I don't get to...
Just snaps her neck.
And he's just like, I deserve death. Batman, figure out a way to kill me, and I'll be okay with it. And they're like, no, we're going to design a Red Sun prison cell, and you're going to just hang out in there, and then we will come and get you if we ever need you. Because in the Injustice game, the second one, Brainiac comes, and so they're like, oh, we got to get evil Superman out of jail to save us. So I'm sure that will be the next movie.
Sure, okay.
It was fun. Bloody. I love it when DC is willing to kill off characters, but you really do see Batman as like ineffective. And it's like, yeah, I don't think Batman should outright kill, but he's not doing good.
Yeah, like it seems like he has, like, they built this temple in space, what do you call it, the Justice League headquarters, the Watchtower, yes, thank you. It's like he has the money and technology, and he's got this huge thing where like they hang out, and he like fights these intergalactic beings and is like the guy who can think his way out of any situation, but he just gives all the bad guys to Arkham that's just run by the city. It just seems like this is like, okay, if you want to give it to the first time, they break out and do more bad stuff. It's like, all right, well, why doesn't Batman just have his own Bat prison that has all the technology? Or, like, just have...
Because that makes him above the law, and that's not what Batman is. Batman needs to follow the laws of Gotham
Follows the laws of Gotham while also breaking law by being a vigilante.
Yes, and knowing the corruption is so thick in the police force and everything, but he still follows the rules, yes.
Yeah, I get it. Look, Batman's my favorite.
I love Batman. But...
Batman, best rogues gallery, coolest looking costumes, just all around the best. I will take all the bad with Batman with infinite amounts of good, but I acknowledge that it's kind of done.
Yeah, it's one thing. Bank robbers who are just trying to get some money because they're poor. Yeah, okay, you break their fingers and you send them to jail. The Joker who is trying to murder everyone in the city, yeah, that guy doesn't deserve a fair trial. He's a proven lunatic. You just put down mad dogs like that.
Yeah, I don't remember what comic book storyline it was, but Joker gets like infinite power or something and turns all of China into like ramen noodles and just eats the entire country. This is a real thing. I don't know the exact context.
He just turns people into noodles and then eats them?
He basically eviscerates China by turning them into like something you would get at any Chinese takeout place, and he just eats them and just...
Millions of people, and he eats all of them.
I can't remember if he like shrinks them down. Like, I think he might actually turn them to noodles. It's not like he's eating individual people. Okay. But I think he just...
Everybody gets turned into one bowl of noodles.
And he just eats it.
Okay.
I believe. I'll look it up, but it's something ridiculous like that. Like, he just has...
If it was a thing of rice, I could get that, because grains of rice are small, whereas like if one noodle equals one person...
Look, I'm paraphrasing a thing I'm not 100% on, but I know for a fact that there is a comic... I think he's like granted a wish, and he just wishes for like infinite power, and so like one of his jokes was, "I'm gonna eat China," kind of thing. I'll Google it real quick.
Oh, and I bet like after he's done, he's like, "Oh, I bet I'm gonna be hungry in an hour." If he doesn't, oh god, wow. Yeah, but see, is there any laws in Gotham City that say you can't turn China into noodles and eat them? So, like, what is Batman able to do there? There's nothing illegal there.
If it's not written down, you can do it.
Yeah.
That's law. That's the first law, honestly. I typed in Joker eats, and I hope it would just pop up, but, oh, wait. Joker eats China is the first thing. Yep.
Everybody's so good. And no MSG.
So this, I guess the storyline, or this version of the Joker, is called Emperor Joker, and here's a picture of him eating China, and then he says, "Yum yum dim sum, Chinese made from real Chinese, all of them." I guess someone should have yelled, "De King Duck," burp. That's
okay.
And then the first Reddit comment is, he's going to just be hungry again in half an hour.
Yeah, I mean, it's the most obvious joke. That's like the only joke when it comes to Chinese food. It's hungry in an hour, no MSG, maybe something about delivery. I don't know.
Okay, so it's after the Joker stole the incredible powers of Mr. Mixpick or whatever.
Mixel-Spitalik.
Yeah, he basically became a god. He named himself Emperor Joker and had almost infinite powers, and with that, he would torture and kill Batman every single day just to bring him back to life and repeat the process over and over again.
Okay.
So, and he ate Chinese people.
Great story. All right.
That's, there you go.
WB HBO, I think you know your next story. Okay, well, that's all I have. I've had an odd week of stuff to watch, and these are just some random things.
Well, I will say, after you told me you watched it, I did. I went on YouTube and saw a review of it, and was going through the comments and just seeing what people were saying about it. And pretty much anyone who played the game or did anything with Injustice said it was just a dog shit movie that didn't do the source material right, and everything was bad about it. But you're one of the few people who actually liked it.
But they say that about everything. Oh, I can't believe that they left out this or left out that. They never do it justice. How could you totally not do this?
It was an injustice to the Injustice games.
It's like, you can't please anyone, and you know what? Do you really want to just see the same story you read or played just in animation form? Why can't we streamline it and take out stuff? I hate fucking fans.
I mean, I think plenty of movies and stuff do that, and then you get annoyed that it's like, well, you took out all the best stuff, or you took out the wrong stuff, or you put in...
I mean, sure, yeah, I guess so. But
it goes both ways, is what I'm saying.
I guess for me, since I didn't play the game and I didn't read the comic, I don't know what I'm missing, and everything is nice and concise, and I can follow it. The only thing I think is weird is just the Nightwing death stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you describing it to me, there's parts of that I was like, that sounds bad.
That sounds real stupid, yes. But having Superman go evil, that's a great story, and I think they handled it really well. And I don't know. You can't please everyone.
Okay.
So, our topic.
Let's get into it, because I've been waiting to talk to you extensively.
Yeah. For a while.
Yeah. About Arcane, Netflix's new animated show that came out in 2021.
Yeah, just right at the very...
November, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Tail end of November.
Let me just write down a note here.
Based on the characters from the smash hit game League of Legends.
Yes, a game I know, or I guess I know a little bit more now, but I really knew nothing about it. It's like, was it a real-time strategy? Was it an RPG? Was it a puzzle game? I don't know. Like, and a lot of times League of Legends characters and Overwatch characters I mix up, because I think they really could be in each other's worlds, right?
More or less, yeah.
Okay. Or at least like a skin. Maybe the League of Legends has that, that hex tech. It looks a little older, where Overwatch is a little more slick.
Yeah, Overwatch takes place in, I would say, a more futuristic world where Arcane is set in like a steampunky kind of world. So,
I didn't know much about this game. I didn't care because every stupid ad I saw for it was dumb. My only knowledge of League of Legends was there was a Harley Quinn type character that a lot of people cosplay as. It's the only thing I knew. So I was not interested in watching this. I saw the ads and it's like, okay, yeah, the animation looks cool and everything, but I don't know this world. I don't know these characters. I don't care. And I only turned it on just because I suggested it to a friend because I had heard it was good, and he came back a few days later and was like, dude, thanks for the suggestion. Arcane is great. I'm like, oh, okay, this guy has a pretty good taste. I'll check it out. And so when I did, I think I did like the first 5 episodes in one sitting. I was really impressed with it.
Yeah, I had played League of Legends a little bit, but to be honest, I didn't know it was League of Legends. So I have friends who enjoy like competitive gaming and stuff like that. So in an attempt to enjoy time with my friends, especially over COVID, it was just like, all right, I'll play whatever game with you guys. And so I had heard the term League of Legends, but I'd never played the game. And then I think we played another version of it, or like a different game, but it's the same game just with a different name called like Arena of Valor or something.
Okay.
And then a couple months back they wanted to play a game called Wild Rift, and I was like, okay, but apparently Wild Rift is League of Legends. It's just like the different version of it or something. I don't fucking know, but it's all the same game, just with different and with essentially the same characters, but different skins or whatever. Oh, okay. So it's all just a way to get your money to buy stupid shit. What
is this game more like? Like, compare it to another game. Is it a World of Warcraft game, or is it more like a StarCraft game?
More like a StarCraft
where you have to like build your army and dig for resources.
No,
nothing?
So I mean, neither of those examples were great.
Okay, more of this one, but not at all.
So, League of Legends is kind of, I would say, its own. It's actually kind of like Overwatch.
Okay,
but where Overwatch is a first-person shooter, this is you just select a champion and you run across a map and you're trying to destroy these towers that the other opponent with their champions, like both sides have basically a home base, and you're trying to get to the home base and destroy their home base.
Okay,
is essentially the game.
Okay,
and
so like StarCraft, but without building armies.
Yeah. Okay. Where each team has 6 team members.
Okay,
and different champions are good at different things. Like one guy is can be a marksman, so he's good at shooting from stuff from afar. You have your brawler type characters with big old swords or whatever, and then you have your dudes who will jungle, which they'll go through and like take out these like little things, which give your team like points and added bonuses, so you can use that to like kind of level up faster.
It's called jungle?
There's a term called jungling, where it's like you're avoiding combat essentially to like take out these smaller things to boost up your team who are in the more heavy stuff.
Okay, what a weird term.
Well,
just call it stealth or anything? You gotta call it jungle?
Well, because like the middle of the map is essentially a big jungle. Like you can hide in grass and stuff, so the enemy team can't see you, and then you can like pop out and attack them, or you're just hiding so you don't run into them, because you know, like if they have 3 guys and you're by yourself, like, oh, okay, if I try and fight these guys, I'm gonna get my ass kicked. Yeah. Anyway, I didn't enjoy playing the games because I am a story-driven person, and League of Legends essentially doesn't have one. I mean, all the characters have like. After I watched the show, I went on the website, and they have 140 champions you can choose from.
Wow.
Yeah, and some of the characters on the show aren't even in the games, or if they are, they've been like added now, or like a DLC kind of thing. They weren't like part of. Some of them weren't part of the original, like Vander, Silco, and Modurta. Not in the games.
Really? Silco just seems like like he would have been one of the first
I think
people.
Silco has been added now, and I think maybe Vander and Modurta might be coming soon because of the popularity of the show, but those characters, before the show, to my knowledge, don't exist. I could be wrong. So yeah, they have this vast array of characters who they had written like basically 1 or 2 sentences, and like, that's their backstory.
She's a crazy girl with a gun.
Yeah, so to my knowledge, Vi and Jinx and stuff, not related at all. Just 2 characters who were like, let's put them together because they look similar, I guess. I don't know.
They're white ladies with colored hair.
So they just basically took the slimmest premise of these characters and just built an entire story around it. Wow. And man, what a story they told.
Yeah, I mean, this is like rich with history, and we don't see a lot of steampunk stuff, and this isn't as steampunk as other things, because there are a little more, like with the hex tech and stuff, it adds, okay, you could have I don't want to say electricity, because you could have electricity with steampunk. It's just you usually don't. Yeah. But we don't get to see steampunk worlds all that often, and I was just very excited to see this world with this sort of technology, because it's one of my faves.
Yeah. So, but real quick, back before we get more into Arcane. So in other video games, like it's always been interesting to see games that have rich, deep lore when there really is no story whatsoever in the game themselves. You look at something like Mortal Kombat, the story is there's a combat every year, but it's just a fighting game. Later games have done it now where they have a story mode and stuff, but you don't really do too much with the backstories typically. It's just a basis to like, this is why your character looks this way or has this power, but really it doesn't add anything to the overall game. And like something like Overwatch, which I have played and have somewhat enjoyed, like they have all these movies and like they'll have a intro cinematic and like all these characters have backstories and connected works and like there's this whole rich lore, but you don't know any of that unless you like go online and do the research or watch these movies, because otherwise you're just playing a shooty game, and it's a shame. It's like, man, like some of these games I'll play and look in the backstory. It's like, man, there's like a good story here that no one seems to give a shit about, because all my friends who care about competitive gaming, they just want to play the game. They don't care about who these characters are or why they are the way. It's like, I care about crazy. All that stuff.
Yeah.
It's like there's people who have written these, like, spent so much time developing this world and these characters and why everything is the way it is, and like no one gives a shit. And what I love about Arcane the most is it proves like you can take these games that don't interest me because there isn't a story there and give them a story and make it fantastic.
Absolutely. And I think when you mention Overwatch, I can see them watching Arcane and go, fuck, we need to do the same thing.
Yeah, so I'm waiting for the Overwatch movie at this point.
It's going to happen. But the problem is that all those characters do have a huge backstory, and maybe it doesn't gel as well. Because, like, you take a Mortal Kombat or a Street Fighter, you have a lot of crazy characters, and they got crazy backstories, and it doesn't really matter why they're fighting. Yeah. You know, they have if you pick someone and you go to fight the end boss, you're only there for their story. You don't have to worry about making them all work. But in something like this, these characters are going to have to cross over, and it may be a little harder. I don't know anything about Overwatch, but it may be harder for them. Whereas with League of Legends, it's like, look at these cool character designs, go nuts. They could have thought of anything.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that's in League of Legends' favor. It's just we have these stories, but we can essentially rewrite them and make them whatever we want. Where Overwatch is more of because there has been cinematic. I mean, they kind of have made a show that they just play on YouTube or a game. In a sense, it's like just as promotion for the game. Okay. But they have almost created Arcane before Arcane. But they are together, and I don't know. I can't speak too eloquently on Overwatch because I'm not an Overwatch super fan by any means. But it is something that, you know, watching that, I was like, okay, there is something here, and they have put money into Overwatch, and like I've seen the cinematics, and they are cool. But they are very kid friendly with their violence because they are doing a sort of robot war, and
laser blast,
where Arcane is very much an adult show.
And hey, was it Microsoft just bought Blizzard, and they do Overwatch, right? So yeah,
Blizzard and World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
So I mean, if who knows what's going to happen with that? But this isn't a gaming show. Everyone's talking about games. We care, and we like games.
Sure.
But everything that Activision or Microsoft just bought, I don't really care about
that
stuff.
Not
all that much.
And like when it was last year or the year before, it's like, oh, look they bought all these studios and stuff, and they're all going to be Xbox exclusive. And I was just like, I don't play any of those, so I do not care.
If PlayStation is your single player, like most of their big hits are single player story driven games. If you're making PlayStation the system for single player people and Xbox the system for multiplayer people, that's fine with me, because I can just stick with PlayStation and have all these great story games.
I'm glad I made the right choice years ago.
Because I do not I do not care about competing and being the best guy at fucking Halo. Who cares?
And Nintendo's there doing like, hey, we do a little A, a little B, and if you don't like it, you can fuck off. And
just shut up and stay in the corner.
Like I saw somewhere that like Mario Kart for the Switch was like the 8th highest selling game last year, and it came out like 7 years ago or something. Like, it is still just selling, and you know, Nintendo never reduces their prices for stuff. It's just like, we know we make a quality product, and if you're gonna get this new system, you're gonna want to get this. So
well, the other thing with that is, I think not every kid growing up gets a PlayStation or an Xbox because they know, like, oh, these systems sell games that have nudity or super violence, where Nintendo doesn't really do any of that. It's just, every kid is going to get a Nintendo before they get anything else.
Probably.
So, and kids are constantly getting older, so people are making more kids. So you get Nintendo, and then when they get older, they eventually graduate to PlayStation or Xbox or whatever. So it's kind of a genius marketing strategy. We don't make games for adults because kids are where the money's at.
And it's funny, like when I was a kid, every video game system was Nintendo. Like even if you had a Sega, your parents would go like, turn off the damn Nintendo. You know,
it's Sega, Mom!
Yeah, exactly. And then I think over time, Xbox got so popular, everything started, it was just an Xbox. It didn't matter if it was a PlayStation or a Nintendo. Moms would just call it the Xbox.
Or a Gamecast.
Something, yeah, they'll get something wrong. But I wonder if it's something new now. Like, has it gone back to Nintendo? Because, like, the people my age who, they grew up with Nintendo, now they're parents, so they're calling it Nintendo.
Yeah, well, I think people who are having kids now have grown up with video games.
So they know.
So, yeah, they just know what the system is.
Turn off your Xbox Series S! Well, so, how do we start? I don't want to go episode by episode.
No. Well, I think we started off right with saying what is our relationship to League of Legends and our knowledge of the show.
Very small.
Let's just go, I guess, with the characters. Did you have a favorite character? I assume it's Jinx.
I like Jinx, and it was great. Like, it was very smart to just create a character where it's Harley Quinn and the Joker all in one. You know, it's a mold that already has a pre-established fan base. Just like really tiny, acrobatic, crazy girl with colored hair.
We know what you nerds like.
Yeah, and it's like whether guys or girls, everybody likes Harley Quinn. We can easily do Harley Quinn for that.
Yeah.
And I especially after once the show's over, I don't like Jinx. I mean I do like the character, but she sucks. She's a bad person. She is a Jinx, and she fucking ruins everything. And am I supposed to feel sorry for her? I guess I kind of do. It's like, oh, she got kind of a bum rap, but she continually does really dumb, fucked up stuff and causes the problems of everyone. So she's the villain of the show, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I think you are supposed to not like her. I mean, I think you're supposed to care for her and get why she's doing what she's doing, and then by the end go like, okay, no. Especially in that last scene, where it's like when she's full-blown Jinx, it's like, okay, my hopes for her being okay are over now. And I'm sure in season 2 they might do some stuff and, you know, trying to bring her back to her powderness or whatever. But I think you build up Silco as the villain of the first season, and then at the last minute go, okay, Silco's not that bad. Jinx is the worst. Yeah. Which I think is good writing. Yeah.
Now, so it'll be interesting to see in the future of like this villainous character that you go, damn, I totally get where she's coming from. She had a fucked up life and a lot of bad shit happened. But she is kind of the cause of a lot of her own problems. So I like Jinx as a character. You knew Pin.
Yeah.
But it's a love-hate thing, you know?
Yeah. Back to the Joker thing real quick. I wanted to say, I thought that it seemed interesting that you had, the Harley Quinn. It seemed like Silco and Jinx were just the Joker split up. Because I think Silco looks like the Joker, but he's, you know, the genius gangster Joker, and she's the chaotic side of Joker. And it's like, okay, what if we took the Joker and split him into two people? And that's who they kind of are. Yeah. But I imagine everyone's going to make that kind of comparison.
Sure.
She's just a Harley Quinn Joker knockoff, which, fine, sure. But I liked her character enough. More, I like that her character had a tragic backstory as opposed to, Mr. J was nice to me in prison, and I'm just love male attention. Where I bought their relationship more than Joker and Harley Quinn's relationship.
Are they fucking?
No,
you don't think so?
Well,
the way she crawls all over him to give him medicine, it's not a father-daughter sort of thing.
I think it's just a comfortability. I don't think it was. I don't believe it. Sexual.
I hope not. Yeah, but
I think it's just. It's like, I don't want to say like a daddy thing without being sexual. It's just, I think that's her. It's like, you know, your daughter can sit on your father's lap and stuff like that. It's just, you're just comfortable. To her, he is her dad.
It's one thing to sit
I need to be close.
To sit on your father's knee. It's another thing to be like facing him, straddling him, and like caressing his face as you stab him in the eye with medicine.
I think that's just her playfulness, and just her character. You know,
So I'm the sicko. I'm the one that's reading into it.
No, I mean, I get where you're coming from. I just didn't take it as a sexual relationship in any way.
I don't see it as like text on the screen. It's more subtext than anything. Yeah. And I was wondering if they were gonna touch on it, but they don't. So
nothing in the show made me go like, okay, maybe they were doing some stuff in the beginning, or he was grooming her or anything. I think it was just he definitely manipulated her to do whatever he wanted, but I think he never came across as a sexual being. Like, I don't think he ever cared about other people. He just wanted to complete his goals.
Yeah, and asking about like favorite character, and I'm trying to rack my brain. Like, do I even have a favorite character? I like characters. I like Vi, but is she my favorite? No, probably not. I like her fight scenes a lot.
All of her
fight scenes are great. All the fight scenes with Jinx are great. Like, all the action in this is top notch. But I don't think I have a favorite character. I think I just kind of like the story enough to follow along, and I don't really have any one person I'm rooting for.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these characters fit into certain archetypes, and I always really enjoy. I have no reason why. I may need to do some soul searching as to why, but I always appreciate sort of father figures who are just either bulky or just these really great fighters, but who just have nothing but love and kindness inside.
They're just big bears.
So like when Vander showed up, I was like, I love Vander. Vander is just a cool guy who's leader. He reminds me of like Aragorn. You know, he's just this kind of reluctant leader who only has the best interests of everybody at heart, but like can fuck shit up if he needs to. And
just being a dad to all these orphan kids.
Yeah, just I like characters who are just purely good. Even if they have a troubled past. And so I really liked Vander, and then 3 episodes in, you don't have Vander anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, damn, okay, so now who do I root
They kind of
for?
like killed him like 4 times, too. It seemed like he was done. Oh, nope, he still survived. And then he's done. Oh, nope, now he's going to take a potion. Oh, now he's alive again. And that thing we were watching, it's like, there's a chance that he may even be back for season 2. Like, just let the guy be dead.
What, did I miss that?
They were talking about it. They're just saying like, pretty sure he's done, but maybe they were talking about someone else. I swear they were saying that like Vander could potentially come back.
I don't think so, unless it's some sort of I mean, this world has magic in it, so
yeah,
you could do a resurrection spell, maybe.
Sure.
I don't know.
And because he took that potion stuff, and then a combination with the hex tech, who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah, not us.
I don't need to see Vander come back though.
No, that's fine.
So anyway,
who's your favorite character then?
Well, after
Vander,
I guess I'd say Silco.
Okay.
But I think that might be just I liked that he was villainous, but he never seemed cruel per se. Like, don't get me wrong, like he shows up and threatens a little girl essentially in front of her dad.
Uses weird mutation monster people.
Yeah, he's definitely will do the stuff to achieve his goals. But I just like
But he
that
doesn't have a basement of orphans that he's eating slowly or anything like that, you know?
He was somebody who was done wrong and just wanted to. Yeah, I mean, he was fighting for the people underground, just doing it in the wrong way. Yeah. And those are kind of the best. I appreciate when a villain is fleshed out and isn't just, oh, I'm mad for this reason and I'm going to kill everybody because I'm mad. He would have happily, I think, accomplished his goals without killing anyone if he thought he could. Yeah.
And he's not Vander's brother, right? They were just friends.
And that's what it's like. I want to give me an origin episode of this kind of rebellion that we never really saw and just got a hint of. I guess if I remember correctly, Silco just kind of sold out the rebellion, and Vander just was angry that it's like, you got all these people killed because you sold us out, and they had their fight in the river and stuff. But yeah, so I liked Silco, and I liked his turn at the end, and I liked him going to the statue, and it's like, it's our daughters who do us in, and he makes us think that he's gonna sell out Jinx, but really it's like, no, I
really thought he was going to. I thought he was like backed against the wall and was like, fuck, I gots to.
Yeah, but I like that he over time kind of fell in love with Jinx, even though that she's a total fucking psycho. So what do you think of Piltover and Zaun in this world? Because I know you're a big fan of Batman Begins and the look of Gotham and how it's dark and dingy and stuff, and that's kind of the vibe I was getting from this from Zaun, is this undercity, and while there's the upper elites.
The elites,
you
the
know.
elites and the middle class are up top, and then all the dregs are underground. As I was saying earlier, like I don't love the names because I didn't realize it was called Piltover. Thought it was called Built-Over, and it makes sense because it's a city built over the lower class society, and like we're just gonna not pay attention to this and sweep it under the rug, and we're gonna build on top of it, and we don't have to look at all these.
That seems like something that there was a writer's room, and they're like, oh, let's call it Built Over, and it's like, no, that's too on the nose. We should call it something else. Built Over. God damn it, Greg, you got it.
It's like, didn't you just say built over again? No, Piltover.
With a
Built
P.
over? Oh, with a B? No, with a P. Yeah, it's like it has the letter B on the dry erase board, and he just erases the bottom hump, and it's like, wait a second.
Holy shit. We cracked it.
And then the underground or the lower city is called Zon, which I really hate because it's just like Zion, but instead of an I and an O, it's an A and a U. It's just like, oh, how uncreative can we be? And I can see them, they have Zion, they erase the two, and then they have like dice with just the vowels on it, and they roll it, and they're like, Zion? No, roll it again. Zoan? No. Zon? Okay, good enough. But a really good aesthetic. I love the people who have, the addicts who have been using the
shimmer.
stuff. Yes, using the shimmer, and like that old guy who helps Vi. I think it's like pretty early in the season, but I don't know. I can't even remember what he helps her with, or like with someone. Oh, her friend was dying, right? And then they meet some beggar type guy, and he's like, oh, I can take you to a place, but then he eventually sells him out.
Well, Vi
to get
got
the
stabbed,
and
Caitlyn goes with this guy, and they get a potion to heal, Yeah,
and just hearing, there's just a couple of lines of like, why would you ever do this? And it's like, I just wanted to feel like I can do something, and I can be more powerful than ever, and then ends up selling him out anyways just to get another hit. It was very sad.
Yeah, I wish they kind of did more explained the shimmer stuff a little better, because it seemed like if you take a big hit of it, you would become these Hulk monsters, and that's scary. But you see these people take it, but you never really see them
have a reaction
too much. It's like, okay, so if you take either like a lesser dose or something, you just feel stronger and you're more agile. I can see why people would want to do that. Like, I buy that as a drug. If you told me, if let's say heroin gives you superpowers for an hour, I can see people going, oh, okay, I can make myself stronger and do like that. I buy that as opposed to just, oh, it makes my head a little fuzzy and I fall asleep. I think that could be a real cool drug to show, but I don't know if they want to try to avoid all the drug use stuff because it's still an animated show that, oh, kids might watch this, but I mean, there's cursing and stabbings, and I mean, children die in multiple episodes.
Yeah, there's just like no nudity, really.
Yeah. There's nothing about this that I think you would really pitch to kids, young adult and above. So show the drug use.
Yeah, I can see, everyone in Zon is just like, this is such an epidemic, and we have to deal with it. Everyone in Piltover isn't even helping us because people are taking too much, and they're hulking out, and they're rampaging through the streets, and like we aren't even equipped to like handle this ourselves. And you could have an alarm go off, and it's just like, oh, someone's hulking out, and everyone locks their doors and gets away, because if you're caught on the street while someone's having their overdose or whatever, you could die. I don't know.
And I mean, maybe it's something they explore in future seasons, because I think when Vander was around, shimmer wasn't even really a thing.
No.
Like, I think Silco had it, and that's what made the Hulk monsters. But since he was gone, that's when the epidemic kind of went through. And it'd be interesting to see, like, oh, are people on the surface above, are they getting into it? Are they doing, like, a new version of it? Because, like, obviously, if all the poor people are just doing drugs, like, everyone in Piltover doesn't give a shit. Who cares? Let them all die.
But then you have these rich, snotty kids and stuff, and like, oh, we're going to go down, and we're going to slum it, and we're going to, like, try this drug, and then when they bring it back to their place, they're rampaging through their streets, and that's when the council starts, like, hey, there's something, we got to do something about this.
Yeah, or Zon is now, they're in open war, and it's like, oh, all these Zoninians, I don't know what you would call them. Zonians are kind of kicking our butts because they're hopped up on this juice. Like, do we start taking it? And then maybe some people in Piltover, like, that becomes an epidemic for them. Because now they're taking drugs to sort of combat these other people. So now Piltover's worse off because everyone's high all the time.
Sure.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, because especially with how it ended,
It looks like open war.
Yeah, we'll be in shambles for a little bit.
So yeah, we have the relationship with Bai and Caitlyn. What did you think about this relationship?
It was fine. I think you don't have enough time to make them fall in love with each other. Mm-hmm. So you have the episode where they have to bicker and they fight and they're each other's enemies and, ooh, I don't like you, but we got to work for the same thing. And then one person opens up emotionally and the other one touches their hand gently to calm them, and then they got the gay. And so, and then instantly they're in love.
I mean, I will say I think they did a good job of laying the groundwork for this relationship in future seasons. Definitely wasn't enough to, if one of them walked away, because there is the episode where Vi's like, stay classy, kid, or whatever, and just walks away into the rain and just like, go after her, or whatever. But there is the one episode where they go to like a brothel or something like that, and Vi leaves, and then she comes back, and Caitlyn's like talking to another woman. So it's like, okay, so they're laying the hints. It isn't just Vi flirting with her just for because it cracks her up. It's like, oh, I'm gonna make this straight girl all nervous when I like get close to her face. It's like, okay, like they all the clues are there, and it's I don't dislike Caitlyn. I just think of all the characters on the show, she's definitely the least interesting.
Yeah, but she's a little boring. Yeah, because she's a fucking rich cop.
But I also think it's because she looks normal, where everyone else is either
tattoos on their
face and cool gadgets on their bodies, or just a monster creature like Hummerdinger. Let's talk about Hummerdinger.
Okay. Yeah, what the fuck is that?
Is it a dog kind of thing? Is it a cousin it situation? What?
We don't see any others like him, right?
He's the only one we see, I believe, that looks like him. There's other creatures in this world that we do see that seem to live normal human-esque lives.
They're like weird cat people and stuff.
Yeah, but we have no context of where any of these people come from, or if they're mutants, or if they're just another race that live on this planet. Yeah. But we don't see outside of this world out. Yeah. I mean, we get a little bit of Moderna's home world. Okay. Or home nation.
Yeah. Do we see it, or we just talk about it? I
mean, there is a scene in the throne room, and I think when she's painting, there might be a scene.
That's right. When she's younger, it's a flashback, right?
Yeah. Okay. So we get a little glimpse of it, but we don't. For all I know, this world is essentially these two cities.
Yeah, it's an island in the middle of an ocean. You know, for all we know.
For all we know. So I hope that in the next season we get a little bit more world and explanation of what's
the next town over?
Well, yeah.
Is it just like miles of forest and they're jut up against a cliff on where the ocean is and there's nothing for miles, or are there something right next door?
I mean, a big part of big plot point of this season was, we invented the hex gate that lets us travel essentially instantly to another place that has it. So it's okay, what are those places?
Well, that would kind of be a fun thing to do for a season 2, is let's just put a hold on Jinx and Vi and what's the dude's name? Jace. Put a hold on that, and let's just go to another world. Take some other of the 150 characters you said they had.
There's 140 altogether.
140.
And there's 10 they use this season.
Yeah.
12, something like that.
So cherry pick some other ones, and let's get a story far away that has nothing to do with necessarily hex tech, or maybe it does. I don't care. And just let's get a cool origin story for these people, and then by the third one, it's like, okay, these stories can converge. I don't think that's what it's going to do.
No, I think they've laid the groundwork with characters you like, and now they're going to do origins of other characters and bring them into the fold and stuff like that. And I should have brought up a visual of all the characters, and you can look through and which ones you'd like to see.
Yeah.
For anyone who listens who likes League of Legends, what characters they're hoping to bring in. Because there are some that just look like gargantuan monster, kind of like real scary looking stuff. Like, those would be cool, but they're probably not going to be talking creatures. It'll just be, this is something we took a guy, fed him a gallon of shimmer, and he just turned into this fucking thing.
Threw a bunch of hex tech armor on him, and now these are our military.
Yeah.
If you have like theories or what you want to see, let us know, because I'd like to read some of that.
So all right, what's your favorite thing about the show?
The animation. It's beautiful. It's simple cell shading, but with like ink paint.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah, ink painting. There's acrylic and it's just ink. It's just called oil painting.
Oil painting. Yes, thank you.
It's simple cell shading with oil painting aesthetics on it. Amazing detail. And the animation is so fluid. And I think I heard it, or maybe I read it on Twitter, but it's like, this is like European anime. And I think that's the best way to kind of describe it.
Okay.
And it doesn't have any Japanese influences, but it kind of uses some of the same sort of action, beat, and camera movement techniques, and then just use it in a more European style.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to put it. And it's gorgeous. And and this animation studio house is, I think, relatively new. I don't think they've done a whole lot. And they have really taken a huge bite out of something and were able to swallow the whole thing, because it's great. And I want to see them do other stuff. I hope they become a pretty established animation house, because this look makes every Disney, Pixar, anything just look like garbage. This is some of the best looking animation I've seen in a long time.
I wouldn't go that. I think it was just a different style for sure. I wouldn't necessarily say it's better or worse. I mean, it's definitely better than some. I wouldn't say it's. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But yeah, when I saw the animation style, it's not like I watched a trailer. I just saw like the poster essentially on Netflix. I was like, oh, I'm not sure if I'm going to be into that. And boy, was I wrong. The animation in this is phenomenal. And what I attributed to it is, so for anyone listening, what you don't know about me, if I could work in the film industry, the dream would be to be a director, to just make movies. But if I couldn't do that, with no artistic ability of my own, I would love to be a concept artist.
Yeah. I want to be the guy that walks up to everyone else's concept while I'm eating my sandwich and going like, oh, that one. Yeah,
so
that's good.
George Lucas.
I want to be George Lucas with my 2 little Sharpie markers and like, yes, no.
But I love watching behind the scenes videos on movies and seeing like, okay, so we had this idea, and someone like would paint these beautiful concept art of like, oh, this could be a scene in the movie, and some of it is stuff that didn't make it in, some of it is, and just how they draw it is like, wow, like someone thought of this and just drew it, and it looks incredible. And every shot of this show is a piece of concept art to me. I've never seen anything like it, and that's what's really impressive. It's from a direction and visual standpoint just astounding, and then with I really love the color usage in the show as well. There's a lot of neon colors, and that really pops in the sort of dingy zone. But
then it's a lot of like neon, but it's kind of like rough hand drawn.
Yeah.
On top of this really good CG.
And then when you go to Piltover, you lose a lot of that neon, with the exception of the blue hex text stuff. But everything in Piltover looks like a European painting. It's like something you would find in the Louvre.
Yeah.
And it's just interesting to see that contrast, but they both pair so well together. And I once again, I would love to see the concept art behind the show, which I know comes from the game, which they've, this game's been going on for years, so it's like they've had plenty to go off of.
Sure.
But just, the look of it that blew me away. And by the end of the first episode, I was like, man, I was so wrong about the animation. It didn't take long for me to go, okay, I see the value here.
Yeah.
From how the shots are composed.
The fighting, when it comes to the animation, just little things like she has her big ass gauntlets on. She's like charging up. You see the zoom in on the dial. It's going into the red. The plates are shifting, and you see steam come out, and then like punches someone, and then it like pauses, and it'll do a zoom, and then it will like extend just a second. Just like an inch further, and send the person flying. It's just like really good editing and emphasizing different little parts. And it's like, okay, this small woman has these huge metal hands. There's no way she could even pick it up, but they really just sell that it's built into the tech of how it can be so good at doing all the things. The gloves, the hammer. What's her name's blade arm?
Savika's
sword arm. All of Jinx's little like toy creature. It's just.
And I think I think the camera movement kind of matched the action that was going on too, that they did really well with all the Vi fights, and there was multiple of them. It was always close camera, and you really got a grasp of what physical movement she was doing with her hands. Like you saw every punch, which is great. You can do it. It wasn't cutting away a bunch.
Yeah, and even though she was like really fast at what she was doing, like dipping around people, but you can follow it.
You can follow it, yeah. And bring it back to the gauntlet, when we were kind of rewatching some of the stuff before we were recording, her punching the ground and then like that launching her up. It's just like, I love when people use weapons in ways that isn't just, I'm just going to swing it or like hit something with. It's just like, I can use this in my environment, and that shit I love. Yeah. So I like that attention to detail. When Jinx is doing her bombs and doing her Gatling gun, the camera's like zooming in and out and like going around. And it's like, it's very chaotic, which matches her. Yeah. When the firelights come in on their boards, it's like swinging around, and that's all very fast camera movement because they're going like 100 miles an hour while they're fighting and stuff. Really interesting use of camera work with the fight scenes that I really enjoyed. Yeah. All right. What about I've heard a lot of complaints about the music, and normally the music in this would bother me because I think sometimes a music choice can really take you out of a show. With the exception of Imagine Dragons, this is solely because I am just not an Imagine Dragons fan. Yep. Anytime their music comes on, I'm like, ugh, I wish this wasn't here. But that's just my personal bias. Yeah. But every music choice in the show, I actually loved and didn't take me out of it, and I thought fit really well with the show. I also don't like Imagine Dragons, but when watching this show, I was like, why don't I like Imagine Dragons? It's not like the songs are... It's not like a Nickelback sort of like, I hate that dude's voice. So, and it's like the guy has a good voice. Okay, that's a good beat. And what is it about Imagine Dragons that I just don't like? And I don't know. Yeah, I want to say I have nothing against Imagine Dragons per se. I think my thing is that song Radioactive came out, and I felt like it was just on everything. I think they're just a band that they have a hit, their one hit song just gets played over and over and over again, and a bunch of stuff. They make they make songs that you can put into sports games or television shows, car commercials. Like, they just have that sound, I guess, that just, when you hear it, it's just going to radiate everywhere. And so, because I've heard that voice so much, I don't want to hear it anymore. Yeah. That's just my theory. But I'll take it as fact. That's why I don't like Imagine Dragons, all the things that he said. But I think it works in this. Like, I don't like the intro song, and they play it once or twice in the actual show, right? Like during an action scene. I don't know. I know there is an Imagine Dragons song in the show outside of the main theme. The main theme, yeah. And it all works, but I skip the intro every time. I watch it the first time and I'm like, oh, okay, visually cool, don't like the song, I don't need to rewatch it. Where, you have something like the Peacemaker intro, which I watch every time. Since I watched the first 3 episodes back to back, I watched it the first time and I skipped it the other 2 because it's as fresh, I know it. Right. And unless they were going to change it up every episode, I'm not going to. But this 4th episode, I was like, yeah, I need to watch this again. But I want to point out 2 songs in particular. One I thought was used beautifully, and the other one, which I thought was probably the most egregious and like it would take me out of the show, but I think it worked really well. So the one song which I've listened to a bunch is at the end of episode 2, where Vi leaves Powder behind, and you think she's going to go sacrifice herself to save everybody. There's a song that plays called Our Love, and it's just this beautiful Sam Cooke-esque love ballad about 2 sisters, or well, not necessarily about 2 sisters, but just about the love that 2 people share. And it's a fantastic song. I don't know if you remember this at all. Nope. I'll play it for you later. I love this song. I've played it a bunch in the house. I think it's great. I forget the artist's name who sings it. I apologize, but that's great. And the fight between Echo and Jinx And I think it's not the song choice, it's the song choice on top of the sudden animation shift as well. That can be jarring, I think, for a lot of viewers who will watch and go like, man, I was really into the show, but it just took me out. And they're like, now they're little kids playing like make-believe fight. And then it's just like, but I loved all that. I can appreciate when a show finds moments to sort of do something different. And I think I like that it was two characters who have a backstory, who haven't seen each other in years, who kind of in their mind are reverting almost, not reverting, what's the word? Regressing.
Okay, sure.
Not necessarily they're in character at that time regressing, but you as a viewer go like, oh, they have this connection. Isn't this beautiful how they had this moment and then now they're mortal enemies? And I don't know.
I do wish they had a little more, like if they were closer friends when they were kids. You know, it's like maybe like Vi's her go-to, but you know, maybe she can't relate to the other two boys who I can't remember their names.
Milo and Clagger.
Yes. You know, but Echo was, you know, closer in age, and maybe they had a similar experience or something. He's the one that would never call her Jinx or anything like that. I think that could have helped.
I agree.
I'm not complaining, you know.
Yeah, but for the sake of just an action fight sequence, I liked it, and I could see why people wouldn't, but I thought it was really well done.
Do you know if this show is up for any awards or anything?
I think it came out too late to get any of the major stuff, and hopefully it's not so early for next year that everyone kind of forgets about it. I guarantee it's going to be nominated for some stuff, but my favorite, when we did our favorite stuff of the year podcast, I think I put Invincible as my favorite show of the year. I think this might beat Invincible. Yeah? Like, Invincible was a lot of fun. There's a lot of stuff I love about Invincible. Invincible's great, but I don't know. This just connected to me on a more, I think, emotional core than Invincible could.
Even though it is fantastical and stuff, there is a little bit of more of a relatable story compared to Invincible, where it's just like, oh no, these aliens from a weird time dimension are keep coming back.
Yeah.
No one can relate to that. That's not relatable in any way. So I can understand that. But with Invincible, I can go and pick a random episode and there'll be some sort of self-contained story within it, where this, you really kind of, it's a one watch all the way through.
Agreed.
And the animation in this is so much better, because Invincible is like Batman the Animated Series. That's all it looks like. It's just very clean. Oh, that's a tough one.
Yeah, I can't decide which one I like more.
Yeah,
because typically I'm a very character kind of guy and a concise story kind of guy. So like Arcane is hitting all those, and especially because it's something new and I didn't expect and didn't know anything about. But I think also Invincible shocked me every single episode.
I didn't know anything about that going on.
And it might be just kind of spoofing a bunch of stuff you've seen before, but done in a new way too. I don't know. It's a great year for animation.
For real. Okay, so if season 2 of both of those came out at the same time, which one are you going to watch first?
Well, now both fully available, because I think...
Fully available. Yep. Whole season.
If they came out tomorrow, I'd probably go Arcane, just because season 1 is fresher in my mind.
Sure.
So I can breeze through that and go, okay, I have the full picture now. Where Invincible, I can kind of go like, okay, I can take my time with it regardless.
Huh. I'm going to say the opposite. I'm going to say Invincible, because Arcane is so fresh, I can take a break and go back to something that I haven't revisited in a while. Also, I kind of know where Arcane's going. You can get context clues after that final episode, whereas with Invincible, I have no idea what season 2 is going to bring, and I have heard the comics are crazier and crazier, and imagine this, and you have no idea what you're looking forward to or what's coming up, so I'd pick Invincible.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like if you ask me the entire run of the show, like the next, let's say each show runs 5 seasons. Okay. And all 5 seasons are now available tomorrow, which I'm gonna pick Invincible, I think. Because I know that story is complete and done, and I can just go like, I know, no matter what, it's gonna follow the comics enough to where like this story is complete. And where like, Arcane,
they could shit the bed in season 3.
Season 2 could be absolute garbage for all we know.
Yeah, very true.
Where I think no matter what, Invincible's gonna succeed.
Yeah.
So I just okay, I'm gonna watch this thing which I know I'll like, and then deal with Arcane, and hopefully that'll go good. And if it sucks, I can bail. But I know I'm gonna watch Invincible all the way through.
Yeah.
Arcane can still fail me, and I can decide to stop watching the show.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna watch every season of Invincible.
Yeah.
So
thanks for tuning in to our Invincible podcast. We have determined Arcane is bad and no one should watch it.
So yeah, we're talking about fight scenes. What did you think of the fire lights?
Not used enough.
Yeah.
Because, like, when Vi comes in with them to, like, blow up the blimp of drugs or whatever, right?
Well, Vi wasn't with them. She just thought she saw her sister, but it wasn't Vi. Vi was in prison at the time.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, they swoop in, and I just didn't really know who they are, what their agenda was. Mm-hmm. I think a little more time with them would have been good, and maybe when Echo and what's his name, Hummerdinger, when they start becoming friends, and you know, we could have used a little bit more of that, but that was so late in the season. It's kind of like pointless to start introducing objectives of this whole other group.
Yeah, if you ask me what their, and I know in the show it's explained what their goal is, and my guess is their goal is to just stop Silco.
Yeah, stop bad, treat us like people.
And I like that Echo is essentially their leader, and you know they found this tree, and I like their. One, they look cool. Mm-hmm. I like the design of them. I like that they're all. I love the green hoverboard stuff. Yeah. I loved his use of the hoverboard in his fight scenes. Mm-hmm. All that stuff's really cool. But yeah, you just kind of get a glimpse of these guys, which I imagine will be bigger in season 2. They're going to be the ones who are leading the uprising, or their group is a big part of the uprising war that is to come, and maybe their base gets eviscerated by Moderna's mom, because she's clearly a psycho.
Yeah, so let's just jump to the end real quick. So Piltover has decided they're going to make peace with the people of Zon, make them like an independent nation or whatever, and all the good stuff is about to happen. And then Jinx, in typical Jinx fashion, fucks it all up by blowing up their like citadel where all the High Council people are in. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure Jace will survive, and maybe some of the other ones, but Mel is dead. You don't think she's dead?
Well, if you remember correctly, her back lights up and she kind of turns. Like, she's the only one who notices this missile's coming. Okay. I think something, like, she has a shield that activates, and because she likes Jace, I think Jace will survive, but probably everyone else in that room is dead.
Okay. I mean, maybe, all the other council members, they're not important.
I don't even know any of their names.
Yeah. Puzzle box guy, snotty, rich...
Robot face.
But see, I was thinking she was going to die, and her mom is going to, like, really corrupt Jason to be like, okay, see what happens when you try to get peace? No, we are going to war. And she's going to really corrupt him, and he's going to become crazy mad with power.
The only reason I don't think she is dead, because you would want more time with that relationship and her mom corrupting, or, you know, that combative back and forth relationship. I think you're going to see more of that. I can't imagine you just kill her off and introduce this other woman and go like, okay, well, now I'm taking her place and Jace is coming. I see where you're going, but I think you'll have the relationship with the mom, and then maybe it'll be, will Mel kill her mom, or will the mom kill Mel?
Oh.
And that kind of thing. And then, like, Jace is in the middle of it, and he's trying to keep the peace, but the mom wants war, but the daughter doesn't want war, and Jace is getting pulled both ways.
I think we've already established that, and there's no point in dragging it out even more. We know where everybody's alliances are, so you kill Mel, and Jace is he's forced into this thing, and there's no looking back, and that's just like the jumping off point is her mom and Jace really gung-ho war machine, and just spending a couple episodes of going like, oh, we can't do this, oh, we need to do this. Like, we already did that in the final few episodes, so I think Mel's gone.
Okay,
I guess we'll see.
I think Mel stays around, and then her mom dies, but Mel becomes her mom, because she's like, my mom was right, and then because that's the whole thing. I don't want to be my mom, but she ends up being her mom.
Yeah. Okay. I could see that.
Yeah.
I guess that's all I wanted to say about the ending. but like, what a great finale. You think, like, finally. And then, nope, she uses her big old shark bazooka and...
her, which I think is her ultimate
her
move.
trademark thing. And I kind of forget it because I follow plenty of cosplayers, and Jinx is very popular. And she always has that bazooka. They always make that prop. And I kind of totally forgot about it because I've seen just so much of her with like big old miniguns and stuff that when it pulled up at the end, like I don't want to say like I was like fangirling or anything, but it was just kind of like, oh my god, I know that thing. I get that reference. so it's like I know nothing about this show, but then it's like, oh, I recognize the thing.
I like how you turned to a mom. Like, I get that one, as opposed to a cool Steve Rogers like, hey, I got that reference.
No,
like, oh my god!
I put my hands up and I waved them and went
So we didn't talk about the whole Victor and Jay storyline. Did you enjoy any of that stuff or care all that much?
It was fine. It was definitely the stuff I liked the least.
Yeah.
It was kind of interesting that he had a connection with that weird sewer doctor that
was working with Silco.
But those stories really never crossed, right? It's not like Silco and Victor knew of that connection, right?
I think if they did, it didn't matter because. I believe the scientist is like, I don't tell Silco about Victor because Victor's been my friend essentially since he was a child, and he's doing his own science thing, and I don't tell Victor about Silco because Silco funds my work kind of stuff.
I mean, I didn't really care about all the Victor stuff, even though it was nice to see someone like trying to use the hex tech for something else. But his assistant that was like in love with him, just kind of like always nervous around and wanted to say something, just gets it fucking obliterated because
Which
of him.
I like, but I just wish I knew that character's name, or I really wish there was more time.
Yeah, there's
or,
only like
Victor
two previous lines.
Like I didn't need Victor to be interested in her, but I wish that he at least enjoyed her being around or something. Because when she died, the visuals was shocking, but it's like, well, what do I care about that girl?
Yeah.
Like I didn't know her.
So broken up about it too, and I know we realize it could even just be I killed another person, not I killed this person. But he seemed really, really torn up about it.
I also wish that the magic was explained a little bit more because I don't because I know Jace was saved by magic, and it just seems like Jace was able to harness magic, but I don't know how or why.
Yeah,
I guess because the first sort of sense of magic was when they found those little blue crystals or whatever, which I guess he got from the wizard, or he like found in the world that he was teleported in from that wizard.
Is he pulling it out of thin air? Did he dig him up? Did he steal?
And then he seemingly can keep making, him and Victor can keep making more because they make the little balls that generate all this power to run all this stuff. And I just had no inkling, or did they all come from that one hex tech ball that Victor was constantly using? So that's what's making more of these things. The magic wasn't explained very well, and I wish they kind of talked more about that. And maybe we'll get more of that in the future. Yeah. Because outside of this magical tech that they're using, we don't really get any other because no one in the show uses magic.
Yeah, there's no wizards or anything like that who are just conjuring things.
Now I know Hummerdinger is very anti-magic and said magic almost destroyed our world, so magic is outlawed or banned, or most people who can use it are in hiding or whatever. I just hope, and I mean, I imagine we will. I'd like to see more magic in this world and more explanation of it. But yeah, the Victor J stuff I didn't love, but I think we didn't love it because it just wasn't as fun as everything else. They weren't in fight. Like Jace had his one fight scene, which was cool. I really enjoyed his hammer. But they were always just complaining and dealing with bureaucracy, and bureaucracy is never the most fun subject to tackle in any show, regardless, unless you're just a big House of Cards fan, I guess, or West Wing. But I think that the politics was presented in a way that was easy enough to follow while also being dramatic enough to be believable without dumbing down the story at all.
I like seeing Jace's kind of like scrappy attitude of, you got to push the limits and things like that, and being tutored, or being a tutor of being tutored by Hummerdinger. I just want to call him Humperdinck. And then just like then they allow him to do some, or like he's going to kill himself, but then they allow him to continue with his work, and then it revolutionizes the world, and you kind of start seeing his ideals change, and he really is a good character who has a good arc. It's just not the most interesting one.
Agreed. Because I would say outside of Vi, Jace is definitely the second lead of the show, and I liked all the Jace stuff for the most part. Like you said, it's just it's not the most fun when you're getting these cool action scenes in the underworld with like guns and super tech weapons.
Yep.
But also, I didn't expect there to be a sex scene in the show. That was...
Yeah.
And, like, not that it was graphic by any means, but, it didn't shy away from it either.
Yeah, but, if you didn't mention it, I would have completely forgot that there was one.
I mean, I didn't think about it until we just started doing a deep dive of Chase, and I was just in my brain trying to think of, like, all the stuff because it's, like, a big part of his...
There's some nudity, right?
No.
Okay.
I think you got, like, curvatures and stuff, but there was no...
This is a curve. Is it a butt? Is it a boob? Is it a hip? You don't know.
All I know is that you're turned on, you little freaks. So... Just... Not that it mattered. I was just... I just didn't expect to see it. And handled in a very mature adult way.
Yep.
Good for them.
Good for them. What about Vi and Powder's relationship? And,
I appreciated it, and I enjoy stories where, family's family and you don't give up on family. I think if I was in Vi's shoes, I don't have the strength. Like, if I saw that my sister is just a murderous clown chick, I'd probably go, probably too far gone at this point.
Yeah.
I mean... I say that, and then, I love all my sisters, so part of me feels
but none of them are murderous clowns, as far as I know, right?
No. I think I would try, but I probably wouldn't try as hard as Vi. But I also have never been in a fight, so I'm not throwing on gauntlets, per se, and fighting giant monster people.
Yeah. And also, who knows how you would react if your sister just killed your friends and family.
Sure.
You may
basically
be all right with slapping her.
Killed your dad and killed your two best friends.
Yep.
It's a tough situation. But yeah, I like that relationship. I think the best episodes are the first three. I enjoy a good origin, and I like that it set up the world and all the characters that are to follow. And I love seeing scrappy kids kind of dealing with the adult world and putting in these situations, and shit, like Vi as a teen or whatever she was fucking badass, and then now that she's older, she's even more badass, and seeing little Powder be the sweet innocent kid, and now but like being murdering multiple people at the age of, I don't know, 10.
I think she's 10,
10, 12, whatever. I don't know. I think all the origin stuff is great, and I love those episodes. And by the end of episode 3, I was like, okay, this show is the shit.
Yeah, so much happens in it, and then like, it took to that point where she's telling Powder to fuck off. I was just like, oh, we haven't seen Jinx yet. Like, this character is pretty iconic, has a really recognizable look. I'm like, wow, we're all this way into the show, and we are just getting started.
Yeah, when it jumped in time, I didn't know, because I didn't know about Jinx, whatever. So when it jumped in time, I was like, oh, okay. So it was basically broken up into 3 parts. It was just like the first movie is the first 3 episodes is the origins. The middle section is, okay, where's everybody now? We're setting up for the finale. And the last 3 episodes was all just like action, big finale, emotional beats. It was really well done that it was 9 episodes. It just felt like a perfect 3, 3, and 3.
You got a 2-hour act 1, 2-hour act 2, and 2-hour act 3. It's like watching, a trilogy of movies. Really.
Yeah, it was really well done. But yeah, and I didn't think they were going to get back together by the end, and I like that she was conflicted. What do you think of Jinx's crazy scratching animation?
I do like it, like when they're like spinning around her and like her dead friends are like kind of like corpse looking behind her. I think they handled visualizing what it's like to kind of have a mental breakdown.
Sure.
It wasn't just like her rocking back and forth and people screaming in her ears. It was good, but it's one of those fine lines. It's like you can be really insensitive by representing mental illness in a certain way, and I think they walk that line well. Especially, that thing we were watching when she's punching the fighting machine, and it's like cutting back and forth between her and her sister doing the same thing. It's just like the craziest, most beautiful animation, so well composited.
Yeah, I really loved that scene. The other stuff, I mean, I think if you're gonna, it was kind of visualizing her mental illness specifically because of how she draws her characters and neons everything and draws silly razor mouth and stuff. So like all that stuff I think fit with her, like how it was visualized. But I mean it was fine. It fit within the world, so I was okay with it. But I think to certain people it's just a lot thrown at you. But if you're crazy, I imagine it's a lot thrown at you. It kind of reminded me of a stupid piece of shit episode of BoJack Horseman. How they sort of, I mean, not that it was the same, but it's just here's a ridiculous animation style to represent his mental illness. I think that was done better, but that show was all about mental illness. Where this show is not about mental illness at all.
Just one character.
It's just about their relationships and everything. So yeah, I mean, I think we pretty much covered it. I thought Vi's face tattoo was stupid, but I also liked that it was a V, an I, and Roman numerals. I was like, okay, that's kind of fucking cool.
It's like, but does a 6 have anything to do with anything?
Nope. It's just my name, but in Roman numerals. It's like, oh, that's neat.
Yeah, very cool.
But her real name's Violet.
Violet
and Powder, which I wish that was some connection. It was just like, it just seems, oh, you were born with pink hair, we'll call you Violet. You were born with blue hair. I hope you like blowing stuff up at some point. I don't know.
I have a feeling that it's going to be revealed that they're not actually siblings.
Could be.
That, Vi just kind of took her at a really young age, who maybe even like a baby, and, Vi is 5 and Powder is a baby, and just raised her that way. I could see that happening.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because I guess nothing about their face really makes them. I mean,
they're white people with colored hair.
Yeah, they both look alike and don't look alike at the same time. Yeah. I think she has freckles and stuff too, or maybe.
Probably.
I don't know.
That's generally a thing they use to
differentiate animated characters. Yeah. So altogether, what would you? I don't think I have any more notes. So what would you give the show all together?
There's really nothing I can complain about. I think this is an A+ show. I recommend it to everybody who I think could get some enjoyment. Like, I wouldn't recommend it to my roommate. Yeah, this is not her bag. Even if it is a good story, it's just like, I think she would roll her eyes at this. But if I know someone who actively plays video games, regardless of what video game it is, I would recommend this. If they watch anime, I would recommend this. It's just a cool fucking world with some awesome characters and a great story.
Yeah, I told my fiance, and I told her, I was like, man, this show surprised me. I'm really enjoying it. I was like, I think you would love this show if it were live action.
Okay. She doesn't do animated?
I mean, she loves a good Disney movie and all that kind of stuff. It's just this kind of story in this format, I don't think is her bag. Because I think she would just see it as anime or just an action thing, which is fine. Yeah. But she loves worlds with magic and female characters and thrust into these. I think everything about the show she would love if it was an HBO show. She would be like, okay, I'm all for it. If it was like a Shadow and Bone on Netflix as a young adult based on the book, like if you told her this was based on a young adult book and it's a series of like, oh, it's these teens dealing with magic and relationships, she'd be like, I'm there. But it had to be live action.
Okay.
So animation style can set people back.
We've talked about this before. I think it was when I was talking about what was that wolf movie I watched? Wolfwalkers?
Wolfwalkers. Oh yeah. Wolfwalkers, right?
Wolfwalkers. I think it's called Wolfwalkers. Whatever.
That Celtic
movie,
animated
yeah.
That I've heard
and I said something like, I always think about in 30 years, what's the stuff they look back to do a live action remake, and I think Wolfwalkers will be something like that. I think Arcane will get the live action treatment eventually. After this has run its course and the game has kind of dies, but then it gets brought back and maybe in another form, and there's a resurgence, this is definitely going to get a live action remake.
Yeah, this is going to get the Cowboy Bebop treatment in some time. And like I said, I think there is a live action show here because it is so good.
Yeah.
But I think it's also so good because it is an animated form. It'd be hard to translate, and it'd be super expensive to translate. Mm-hmm. But I think you could do it.
Yeah.
It just, you're going to have a hard time making it good.
Yeah, seeing someone with like giant fist gauntlets not in animation is going to look really silly. So there's going to have to be a lot of like realism scaling where those fists can't be that big. They're going to be bigger than boxing gloves, but they're not going to be the size of stop signs as they are in the
Probably,
cartoon. Yeah. You're really going to have to try to bump up the realism, which is a shame. But yep, mark it down. This is going to get a live action remake in 30 years or sooner.
And Tom Holland will be playing Hummerdinger.
Yep. He'll finally be able to grow that mustache. He needs to start growing it out now. I guess that was a thing in Chaos Walking. They were like, we want you to grow as much facial hair as possible.
And he just
couldn't. He had barely any sort of wisps. That in the movie, he has the facial hair, but you can't see it unless it's a certain shot where a light hits it a certain way. He's just so baby-faced.
It makes me wonder, have they tried putting facial hair on him and it just doesn't look good?
So stupid.
Yeah, I'd like to see him in some stage hair and then see what it looks like.
Try to give him the stubble. I don't need a full beard or a mustache. Give him the 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah.
Fine.
I think if you go too big on the beard, you'd be like, oh, that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But if you gave him some stubble, you might be able to pull it off.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, well, I don't want to make any like predictions for the next season. I mean, we kind of did a little bit, but I don't know enough about other characters to be like, oh, wouldn't that be cool if, Shiitake the Mushroom Man came and like all the mushroom people from the forest? I don't know any of them.
Fordania? Forestania?
But I do want to say this show did not make me want to play the game.
Absolutely not.
Because I have seen parts of it and it's not even the same feel. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to play it. So, I mean, nice try. Maybe you'll win some people over. But these characters need to just be in a fighting game. Why give it to Capcom or something and make a Street Fighter-esque fighting game?
After this show, I don't want a fighting game. If they make a fighting game, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But give me the Arkham City version of this.
Okay.
I
sure
want to be, even if I can't hop between characters or, certain missions you're this character, certain missions you're this character, like, give me the ability to be Vi, run around the city and fight these monster dudes or whatever, and, I have my gauntlets that have different powers and, like, make that game.
Sure.
That's what I want to play, because...
Yeah, I'd be better at that. I'm not good at fighting games. I like playing fighting games, but, yeah, I'd be better at your one.
Yeah.
So I'll have more fun with that.
And those are the big games now. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, give me that game. Because the mobile game, no fucking desire to play.
Hey, give us both. Why do games have to be one thing? Why does the game always have to be a first-person shooter and that's it? Give us multiple types of games. Oh, you want to do a fighting game? Hey, we got a huge roster of 140 characters we can make a fighting game. Oh, you want to do an Arkham-style game? Do that as well. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Money.
If Mario could have a board game and a side scroller and a karting and a fighting, why can't other genres?
Yeah. Well, speaking of just video games getting other formats, this is the first. I mean, I guess Detective Pikachu is probably the first successful video game movie, even though it's just kind of loosely based on another video game. It's a little bit of a stretch. Mm-hmm. But this is the first successful video game TV show or a video game story that's really been brought to a different format correctly.
Sure. And maybe other movies like, Prince of Persia made a bunch of money or whatever. And
I'm not talking about financial success. I'm just talking about, was it good?
Was it good? Yes,
I think Arcane might be the first. Because typically, movie or books that get turned into movies or comics that get turned into TV shows or whatever. It's like, okay, these are good, but the original source material is better. This is one of the few examples where the thing you created is better than the
Way
source
better,
material.
yeah.
Like, way better.
Oh, does anybody else have any other examples of that? Like, the spin-off, the adaptation just blew the original thing out of the water. Because, like, I love the Silent Hill movie, but the Silent Hill game is always going to be better than that movie.
Yeah, because you're looking at a medium where you are playing the character. You are kind of putting yourself into the story physically and emotionally, and having, you know, you can play a game for 40 hours plus, where, like, this is a TV show that only lasts 6 hours, essentially, but it's just told in a way that's so good. It's interesting. And this gives me hope for other games. Like, okay, this is the way to do it. Not necessarily animation, but take your characters, make a long form story, and flesh it out, and make it visually interesting, and you can have a good product as opposed to, let's put Sonic in a movie and throw Jim Carrey in there.
Yeah.
Whatever, you know?
Oh, what does it have anything to do with the actual video games? Not really. It's a road trip, and he does some funny things, and yeah.
Or, you know, you go back to the Oscar-worthy Super Mario Brothers movie. With,
classic. Very faithful.
So,
God, I love that movie.
you do?
I do. I mean, it's so bad, but it's a movie from my childhood, and it was one of those that I saw and went, oh my God, this is so fucking dumb. But then I go back like 3 years later, and I'm a little bit older, and it's like, yeah, this is so fucking dumb, but I kind of love how dumb it is. And I know when the new Mario Brother movie comes out, it's going to be much more closer to the aesthetic of the game, and I can just see myself going, yep, that was a Mario thing. Yeah. Whereas the, you know, John Leguizamo as Luigi Mario, fantastic.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what that becomes, the new live action, or not live action, I'm sorry, the new Mario movie. That is animated, at least.
Yes.
So they have that going for it. But after the cast was announced, I was like, I kind of want to see them just do it live action, but with these actors.
Okay, I would be more invested.
I think I would care more,
fucking cut ripped Mario, but he still has like the big dumb mustache and
yeah, like I want everyone to look ridiculous. I want Keegan-Michael Key to put on Toad face. And I mean, I want them all to do silly voices, but imagine Chris Pratt and his brother Charlie Day just going on adventures.
Fucking Chris Pratt towering over Charlie Day.
Maybe make everything else in the movie animated, but just have all the main actors.
That'd be fun.
And then Jack Black just with a dumb Bowser snout on, going, Rawr! I know that's a Wario thing.
Yeah.
Luigi thing.
So, I mean, the post-credit for that is going to be like, after they save the day or whatever, a pipe is going to come up and Wario and Waluigi are going to show up, right? It's got to be.
Probably. Or
I'm putting my vote down now.
Or you're going to have Bowser defeated, he's walking through his castle, and then he goes into like a prison cell dungeon area. He's like, I need your help. How do you feel about getting out of here? And then all you hear is Yahoo! Yeah, you hear that, and then the taunting. Oh man, I love coming up with post-credit scenes because they're all essentially the same.
Yeah. Okay, so you have him in a prison cell. Like, did they try to defeat Bowser and then he stopped them? Or is he going to
probably broke into the castle to steal something? I mean, yours probably makes more sense, but I don't know the origins of Wario.
They actually don't have like official origins. It's like they're not related. They're not from a parallel dimension. They just are. But I think they will do a sort of thing like the only thing that can stop the Mario Brothers.
They'll steal Mario and Luigi's DNA, and then Bowser will use magic and Goomba technology or whatever.
Well, he does have a wizard character.
Okay. Yeah, and then they'll just make
the negative versions.
Yeah.
We need a Wah Peach. You know, well, where's the evil big-nosed Peach character?
There's a Daisy character, but it's not an evil version.
No, that's Luigi's girl.
It's just Peach, but brunette.
Yeah, I think they're sisters, and I think there's like an evil Yoshi. He's just black and he wears like sunglasses, so that's cool. But like, where's our evil Toad? Is there an evil Toad?
Oh, see, I have a different pitch for you.
All right.
For the Mario movie. So, at the end of the Mario movie, they, defeat Bowser, save the day, and then you have a letter come in to Peach's castle, and then on the letter is the symbol for Smash Bros.
Yeah. No,
and then you're just like, it's like, I'm here to talk to you about the Smash Bros. Initiative. Then you just have Mario hop from different Nintendo universes, and then that's their MCU, and it's Mario and the crew saving the day in Fire Emblem World and Samus World, or Metroid Prime, or whatever.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah, I can see that becoming something, but I don't know.
No, I mean,
but some of it works. It's like, why not in the Super Mario world? Donkey Kong's island is just in that world. It's just in the ocean, and his villain is King K. Rool.
King K. Rool, yeah,
and who is a reptile thing, and Bowser's kind of a reptile thing. They can be like a cousins of each other, and Bowser got the land and King K. Rool got the sea, and you can work these together. Kirby fits perfectly, and he travels from planet to planet, so why can't Kirby just come crashing?
Yeah, there's lots of Nintendo properties that do work together, but then you'd have Mario next to Link or Ike, which don't look, I mean,
I think Link works.
In an animated world, you can make them work for sure. But if you're going, let's just say we're doing any. Oh, I was going to say you have Snake. Snake's not going to look, but Snake is also a Sony property, so I don't think you would bring him in.
Yeah,
you just keep it all Nintendo.
You keep it to like
maybe Sega.
Yeah, I'd say go to Melee, and once you get the Smash Brothers movie, then you tease Sonic joining for Smash Brothers 2.
Sure.
But you have space characters. I can see Samus. She just did a bounty or whatever. She's gonna take some time off. She's on vacation, and she goes and sees an F-Zero race. And so Captain Falcon would be hitting on her and being this real cocky asshole superstar. And then you would have the Star Fox characters. It would be kind of like a cantina scene, and they're sitting at the bar, and Captain Falcon.
This is your Guardians of the Galaxy movie right here.
Yeah. And he's kind of sidling up to Samus and trying to hit on her, and it's there's enough similarities with a lot of these things that you can start grouping them, and then it makes it easier to make the big thing.
This is just a Smash Bros. This is This Meets That. We're just doing the MCU meets Smash Bros.
Yep.
So, we're just going to talk about this for a while.
So, and I can see, Captain Falcon is, hitting on her, and is oh, don't you know I've won all these races? And she's like, I don't know who you are. And he's like, really? I'm on, every billboard, and it's him selling, a Falcon punch,
Of course.
Yeah. And she's just not interested, and he's just trying to get into her Zero suit.
It's just the only properties I know in depth on really is Legend of Zelda and Mario stuff, and it's not that I've even played that many Mario games. It's just Mario is it's just the Nintendo thing. So I don't know if any of these worlds, from their basic lore, say nothing else outside of this exists. Because you could go into something like Fire Emblem and it's like, oh, well, we have a world, it's named this, and outside of this continent exists nothing. That's just in it. But I mean, you could easily write that off or whatever, because it's no one really pays that much attention. It's I just wonder if they would try and explain that, because at least with the Marvel movies, it's okay, everything is essentially based on Earth, and then just expands from there.
They'd really have to pick and choose, but you take a Rosalina type character and just going oh wow, so many worlds out there, and what if they all combine? Because that's all the women talk in the Mario games.
Or Mario's just using his plumber knowledge to build all these pipes to other worlds.
Well, I always thought that would be the thing of these pipes that are in the Toad's
That's
Land.
Their hex gate that teleports their goods and services.
They all appeared one day, and they kind of avoid them because, or some of them, we know where this one goes, but that one, anybody who goes into that never comes back.
Oh yeah, they don't know there's other worlds, there's all these pipes and stuff, but they don't go in because they have the
piranha plants.
Piranha plants and stuff. There's a monster in there. It's okay, well, fuck it. We're just going to close them off, so we're not going to I like that.
Yeah, we know this one is going to take us to this world, and this one's going to take you to Bowser, but, we blocked them off, and
And that's your first movie is Mario. Bowser's gonna take these pipes and use them for some nefarious evil, and so Mario and his crew like clear some out, and like they just happen to clear out the one path that leads to Donkey Kong World. Whoa!
See, okay, hold on.
Because the first game was Mario versus Donkey Kong.
I got you. Okay, so so Mario and Luigi, they run a plumbing business. They're doing odd jobs. They're handymen.
Which I would like to see in more Mario games, because really it's just I'm a plumber, but I gotta fight monsters. But like, give him a day job. Let him work a 9 to 5 and fight monsters on the weekends.
And it's like they only made him a plumber because there was pipes. But he doesn't have like a plunger tool or a wrench or anything or a snake to clean out the drains. Like, I'm surprised they never capitalize on that. And
also, why this rich princess? I mean, I like the idea of, I marry for love and I love Mario, so I married a lowly commoner. But does she even have plumbing in the fucking castle, man? Like, how do they meet? Other than like, did someone hire him to like save her from this Donkey Kong?
Okay, so
sorry, I'm getting off track.
So Mario and Luigi, they lost their father. He had some sort of crazy plumbing accident and never returned. And maybe it's their dad and their uncles or whatever. Maybe Wario's dad and Mario and Luigi's dad were friends or something, but whatever. They went into a warp pipe, never to return. It just appeared underground, something. Because it's like Peach and Daisy, they're like humans. They're not toad people. So somehow they need to be part of that. Like maybe, I don't know. Who cares? Who cares? So anywho, they're working in their basement and they're looking at the pipe and it's like, yeah, Dad left forever. We never went into it and we never will. And then all of a sudden, like they hear the and something's coming out of it and like, oh my god, what is it? And it's fucking Donkey Kong. It is a huge ape that just bursts through and he's going nuts. And I think Mario's first girlfriend, her name was like Paulina?
Paulina?
I think it's Paulina.
Paulina is a playable character in Smash Bros. She's blonde and has the magic star. I think she comes from Super Mario Sunshine, or
no, that's
Super Mario Galaxy, maybe.
No, that's Rosalina.
Oh no, that's Rosalina. Paulina is Palutena.
Palutena.
Whatever the fuck it's called is from another game. Yeah, you're right.
But he had in the first, I think she's the princess in the Super Mario Land Game Boy games, but whatever. That's his girlfriend, and she's going to be like breaking up with him when Donkey Kong breaks out. And so he grabs her, and he starts climbing a construction site of a building that is being built. And I would like to see him, like, maybe he gets like tangled up in the banner for the construction company, and he's all tangled, and he just like kind of rips it off, and it just leaves kind of like the red tie.
Okay.
And maybe the logo, like the last letter of one word was D and the first letter, it was like Donald King. And so it rips, so it has that DK right in the middle. And then Mario's like, we gotta save her. And, they go up and he's throwing the barrels and they're doing that first game. Eventually he puts down the girl and she's just like, I can't deal with this. I'm out of here. And he runs back into the pipe and they look at each other like, okay, let's follow. Let's see what happens. They go in and they get spit out, and Donkey Kong just fucks off to his own island until he's needed for another movie. And they run into some toads who are being harassed by some Koopa Troopas. They got their little pitchforks and stuff. And maybe they're trying to round up like the Yoshis and stuff, because I always imagine Bowser just sitting on his throne, just like eating Yoshi eggs. That's my start.
Yeah, maybe Bowser lives in Peach's castle. He has a more standard castle, no. Yeah, Bowser has his Bowser castle, but he was at war with the Toad People's king. Toad People's king was killed or whatever, defeated, and so like now the Toad People are essentially slaves to Bowser. And then Peach is so nice and kind she meets Toad, and Toad is the de facto leader of
the resistance.
Not necessarily resistance, it's just like, we're the lowly people who live under this tyrannical rule of Bowser, and she's nice to them, and so they're just like, oh, we love you, but she gets taken, and so Mario is like, okay, I'm gonna go save her, and they're like, please save our princess or whatever. And so after he saves Peach from Bowser, she becomes princess, who now lives in the castle that was their people's
Sure.
king or whatever.
Yeah.
And so she's like, I'm going to stay here and help these people rebuild their society. And Mario's like, all right, cool. I'm going to go hang out with Luigi. And then other antics ensue. And that's basically how the first movie ends. Peach becomes princess and runs the Mushroom Kingdom. Bowser's defeated and Donkey Kong goes back up to... I love it.
Yeah. I kind of had an idea about that. Like, so you have the castle... it's the head castle, and Bowser's like, I'm gonna defeat it. They defeat the Mushroom King or whatever, enslave the people, and then I imagined, because Kirby always flies in on a star.
Yeah.
So he comes in and like hits a mountainside, and it's actually a volcano, and it explodes. So there's smoke everywhere. That castle that now Bowser's in is like covered in lava, and since all the smoke is kind of like blocking out the sun, all the toads that got left behind, they start to like de-evolve, and they turn into the Goombas. So like they start turning brown, and their caps start getting lower, and so because it's kind of weird that in the game you have like good guy mushroom people and bad guy mushroom people. Well, what if they're the same people and it's the environment kind of messed with them? And so now Bowser...
Well, I kind of just imagine them as orc mushrooms, essentially. Like they weren't good guys that got turned. There's just like, depending on where your mushrooms bloomed or whatever, like you just became that kind of mushroom.
Okay,
and Bowser just lived in this dank area where these particular mushrooms are more aggressive. So
Sure. But I just imagine now, like, his castle and his land that he just conquered is now all fiery and lava-y, and he's kind of trapped there. And all the Toads and Peach and Daisy, they're like, well, that actually kind of worked out. And they move into another castle and are very prosperous there. And that's why Bowser kind of starts creating his, like, airships so he can get past the volcano and all the lava. Something like that.
I like it.
Yep. And I want to see... when Mario and Luigi get the mushroom and they get bigger, I want it to be kind of like, not like Hulk or anything, but they do get like twice as tall and they're buff. So then like when he's coming to fight Bowser, it's like, oh, you can't defeat me. I'm a huge lizard man. And he takes the mushroom and he's able to get both, start grappling with Bowser. And like he would be able to be as big as like Donkey Kong. He wouldn't be crazy caveman brain or anything like that, but I really want to use the mushrooms and the star and the fire flower and like really take the stuff from the games and put it in the movie.
Yeah, you could do some cool stuff with it. I think you don't really have... I think you have Luigi in it, but he doesn't play a major part. Like, he is just a background character in the intros and just like, oh, hey, I got a job over here, whatever. So he just kind of disappears for the whole movie. But he's not a plumber. He runs a cleaning service. And so that leads you to like him getting his vacuum deal. And
that seems like something like after they're done and they get back and they're all dirty, Luigi's just like, I'm done with plumbing. Maybe I'll get into vacuums. Dink! Wink right at the camera.
Yeah, so you
something
just,
like that.
Yeah, and then either you could do a spin-off thing with Luigi, either his own Disney Plus series or whatever, where it's just him tackling ghosts, or his own movie, or you just kind of make that a plot for a later thing, and just like
it could be in
that
the
way
same
he
thing.
can kind of differentiate himself from Mario. Like Mario shoots fireballs, Luigi has vacuum powers.
Okay, that's what
and
I want.
Fights ghosts.
I want Daisy there too because I want like her to be the fun, sporty one who doesn't really care about ruling. Peach is very like, no, this is my job. I got to do it. Because I just assume like they're twins or something like that. And Luigi would be enamored with Daisy, and Mario would love Peach. Because I don't want just like Luigi's there and he doesn't have his counterpart girl. And yeah, whatever. But with the vacuum story, if it was we need to get the two halves of the special orb to bring back harmony, and one of them's in a haunted mansion, and one of them is in Cloud City or whatever, and so you send the two characters on different paths, and yeah, because I can't see them doing a Luigi's Mansion like standalone movie.
Sure, no.
But it would be fun.
Yeah.
So thanks for listening to this episode of Arcane, where we talked for 20 minutes on Mario Brothers.
I think I like our movie, though. We'll see how close it gets to the actual one that comes out.
See.
I swear to God, if a letter shows up in Smash Bros. Is like a thing, I'm going to freak the fuck out. Not because I'm like super excited for a Smash Bros. Movie, multi-picture deal universe. I just want to be right.
Well, do you guys have any sort of ideas for how to do a Mario Brother movie justice? Hit us up on the old Bird app. I think that's what the kids call it.
Yep.
At WRPL Podcast on Twitter and WRPL
Take it from the top.
At WLP. I thought of the name and I can't even say it. Take it, Steve. Where can they find us?
They can find us on Twitter at WRPL Podcast, or they can hit us up on Gmail.
Yeah.
At.
Yeah. See, and that's annoying because it's like the at is.
You fucking me up. All right. You can find us on Twitter at WRPL Podcast, or send us an email, WRPLpodcast@gmail.com.
Yes. Do all those things. Thanks for tuning in. We love you.
You're not a jinx.
You're not a jinx.
Yeah, we love you. We'll come back for you.
I would have never turned you into the authorities.
You're all our daughters. Watch Arcane. Even though we just spoiled all of it for you.